I started working with him, and that's kind of who he partners with. So.
Okay.
You use your hands on the table right
Whatever you want. You can do that. I'll probably be flailing, man.
I try not to play with him too much.
I think he's got us framed up here anyway, so I wouldn't worry about it.
There we go.
You can flip him off if you want. It'll work, you know. Use some signals. On? All right. We are live on Facebook, and we're lucky to have Cougars quarterback Gardner Minshew with us. You probably recognize him without even me saying anything. But it's Paul Sylvie here. We're with the MTR 84th Annual Seattle Sports Star of the Year show here at the downtown Sheraton. And over the next hour, we're going to be live here talking to gentlemen and women. And we're going to be talking to Gardner Minshew first out of the gate because we're lucky to have you here right out of the gate. So it's a cool start for us, cool start for me. Big fan of yours. Loved watching you this season. Where are you now as you look back at that Pac-12 season? You had a chance to just kind of digest a little bit. Give me your take on it.
Yeah, it's crazy. You know, even till now, you know, everything's going so fast. But man, you look back and you got a lot of fond memories, man. You think about all the people that were involved in making such a successful year. You know, a lot of wins, a lot of good times, man. It was a blast.
Yeah. I mean, you won over a lot of fans nationwide. You led the nation in a lot of major passing categories. How did you keep that from maybe going to your head? How do you keep yourself in check?
I don't know, man. I think you just go try to be the same guy every day. You know, be the best guy you can be so the team can be the best that we can be. You know, so that's all it is. At the end of the day, it's just being accountable to your teammates and not being, you know, too big for that.
Yeah, well, I mean, I liked your attitude going into the bowls because there was a lot of the top players like yourself, some of them were opting out of their bowl games because they didn't want to get hurt, but I loved what you said about not letting your teammates down. That was important to you, huh?
Absolutely. You know, you got guys that they pour it out with you, not just on those Saturdays, but in the summer, in the spring, all through the workouts, through the sprints, through everything. And to bail on them, you know, when they're counting on you, I just know it's not something that I can really stomach.
Yeah, well, I mean, I tell you what, you're training down. We were talking a little bit before we came on here live, and Gardner says he's training down in South Florida. How is that going now as you prepare for the combine and the big picture of the NFL draft?
Yeah, man, it's going great right now. So you kind of go in phases. You know, we had the Senior Bowl, had a really great Senior Bowl week, did good there. Now we're on to the combine and then eventually the pro day. So it's quite the process, you know, not much downtime. But, man, I'm really excited about what's coming next, man. I think we got big things in store. And, man, I just can't wait to see where I get called.
Yeah, man, because you're down there, you're training with a quarterback's coach and some of these other guys. Like, are you working with any fellow athletes?
Oh, yeah, we got, I think in our facility it's about 30 guys. I think, like, half of us have combine invites, so it's a great group of guys. So several guys are going to be first-round picks, so to be with guys like that, they'll really push you, and it's a lot of fun.
Okay, so I'm just going to throw out some draft questions for you because I know that you're going to be like, listen, I can't answer that, and I really don't care where I can probably answer these for you, my man.
Yeah,
all right, let's start with what are you hearing about Gardner Minshew in the NFL draft?
Yeah, man, you hear kind of everything at this point. You hear everything from like second and third round all the way to seventh. I've even heard some undrafted. But at the end of the day, none of the teams have their boards together, so it's all the guys that are talking are the guys that don't have picks, so it doesn't really matter at this point. So.
All right, so and let me just ask you this: as you were growing up, did you have a favorite NFL team, a team that you rooted for?
Yeah, I was a Titans fan. Growing up in Mississippi, I always wore number 9 for Steve McNair.
Oh, cool.
You know, being a Mississippi boy, he was always a guy I look up to, and Titans fan. Yeah.
Okay, I don't run into too many Titans fans.
Not many.
That's a good answer, man. Okay, so what can you expect here? Like, are you doing cardio and you're doing the weights and you're throwing the football? Like, what does your day entail? Is it how much training? How many hours go into a day?
Yeah, so typically every day starts at about 7. Get up to the facility at 7:30. You work from 7:30 to 10 on speed, from 10 to about 11:30, 12 with our quarterback coach, and show back up at 1 for another workout for about an hour and a half, 2 hours. And so it's busy days. And, you know, the nice thing about being in South Florida is anytime I'm not there, try to go down to the beach or to the pool.
You couldn't tell,
just
man.
Relax a little bit, you know? You got to have it.
That's right, but we can't tell by looking at this guy's tan.
That's right.
You know, the golden face and the golden arm and all that stuff working. But, you know, when you look ahead, I know I've got to let you go here in a couple of minutes because I know a lot of people want to talk to you. But, you know, when you talk about the NFL draft and things like that, has anybody given you some good advice?
I don't know. I think the biggest thing is control what you can control. You'll drive yourself crazy if you start, you know, really thinking, oh man, I should be going here, and you're not getting taken there. You know what? put all your work in, and then wherever the cards fall, they're going to fall. And just, trust wherever he goes, where he's supposed to be.
All right, one last question for you about Mike Leach. It was after, I think it was the Colorado game, you came up and put the stash on him, and the post-game interview. I thought we were going to maybe see him smile there. He doesn't show that too much, but what is he like?
Oh, man, he's incredible. I tell you, like, in football, I don't know if I've ever seen him smile. But if you get him up in front of people and he starts entertaining, cutting jokes, that's when he's at his best. That's when he's in his element. He's smiling, having the best time. But, man, he's a great guy. He treats everybody the same. That's one thing I respect about him. And, man, I've just had a blast working with him.
Yeah, it's a big coup for him now. You look back, for him to go get you and you to go to Pullman. I mean, when you were thinking about it, you had other choices. Why Washington State back then?
Oh, man.
Was it him? Was it Lee?
Yeah, that was a big part of it. Growing up, I was always a guy that followed him. I read his book when I was in middle school. I've been a huge Leach fan for as long as I can remember in football. And then, man, you start looking and, more than anything, I wanted to win. And, start looking at the guys, pieces in place. I really thought we could. And shit, that's what we did.
Yeah, you did, man. First team to get 11 wins in Washington State history.
Yes,
hey, Gardner Minshew, thank you for coming on. Best of luck, man.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, we'll be watching. I know a lot of Cougar fans will be watching this guy for sure. NFL fans in general. So I'll let you get out of here. I know you got to take your mic off, and we'll let you slide out.
There you go.
And we'll bring Chris Daniels in, and we'll try to spell you a little bit.
All right.
It was like hosting a half-hour show with Gardner Minshew. Get in here. This guy's getting tired of me. Here, I'll slide over here. All right. Thanks, Gardner. Good luck, man. All right. Good seeing you.
Have a good night. Good luck.
All right. Keeping it casual here. Again, the downtown Sheraton. We're live here with the MTRWestern Seattle Sports Star of the Year Award show, and there's a lot going on here. We're so lucky to have Minshew out today.
Yeah, that's a great start.
That was cool.
Yeah, and he had a great year, and I think Coug fans are happy about that year that Gardner Minshew had, and quite the turnaround from what happened in the offseason last year to what happened by the end of the season this year.
Yeah, it was cool, man. So, just come on in here,
We're
Bill
live,
Stevens.
okay.
Come on in here, man. No, it's Facebook Live.
Yeah.
They'd have people just throwing me out if I were live.
Well, we appreciate you coming on,
Do
man.
you want Morgan, our other
Absolutely.
Morgan Weaver?
Yeah, whenever you're ready. All right, you see how this
All
thing
right.
works?
She's right over
All right, we'll bring her on in here.
Yeah.
Sure, yeah.
All right. Funny how that works.
Yeah, that's the beauty.
there's
of it.
Walter Jones,
Walter
too.
Jones is here too. Now what do we do?
Yeah.
Walter or Morgan? Let's get.
Yeah. I guess we're getting the wave in here.
Wait, what are we? Let's get.
I think he just gave the wave in.
Well, let's get Morgan for a few minutes.
All right.
Ladies
Yeah.
first. Come on in, Morgan.
All right.
Paul Sylvie, nice to meet you. Come on
Hi,
in.
Morgan. Chris Daniels, nice to meet you.
All right, Morgan
All
Weaver.
right. I guess I'll just hold the mic. We'll keep it easy.
That's good. I like that.
Yeah.
So, what's it like for you to be here tonight with Among the Stars?
It's pretty awesome. I'm honored to be here. There's so many amazing athletes here, and it's just an honor.
Yeah, well, you know what? I can tell by just your first 5 seconds, you're fighting something, aren't you? You got something going on in the cold or something?
Good old Pullman.
Yeah. All right, so take me through the season and how you thought things went for the program.
I thought we had a great start this year. We were 10-0 from the beginning, and then, we kind of had a slippery slope right there. We had 5 straight losses, was kind of not really doing that well, and then all of a sudden we kind of kicked it back into gear, and, we made it to the second round of the NCAA tournament. Not the best, but hopefully next year we'll do even better.
Now, you guys started out so strong. It was fun to watch you because you were just kind of like, there were some great goals out there, some great plays that you guys made, but it really, how disappointing was it to hit that skid because you were on such a good roll?
It was hard. It was hard on everyone, and I think we were just like, what is wrong? What's going on? And we kept blaming injuries, and we're like, no, this is not our team. This is not what's going to happen. We can't blame something. And I think we totally just changed our mindset, changed our gear, and kept competing, and, we did really well in the end. We tied the #1 team. We tied Stanford. We did amazing things throughout the last couple games we had.
What about the rivalry with the Huskies? I mean, we showed a particular highlight that night where you guys kind of got after a little bit on the pitch. Tell me a little bit about, is that a rivalry that's brewing?
I think that rivalry's been forever, Go Cougs. No Huskies here, I mean, my dad's a Husky, so he was a Husky fan his whole life, so kind of had to change him to be a Coug now.
Yeah, so I'll tell you what, it was fun to watch you guys this year. I know I'm trying to save Morgan's voice because she's got a lot of talking to do tonight, so I appreciate you coming on here just for a second.
Thank you so much.
The only question I wanted to ask is, when you come to an event like this, who are you here to see?
I don't know. I'm excited to see everyone. Gardner. Totally joking.
Good answer.
Totally joking.
That's
see him all the
time. We'll let you go.
Thanks, Morgan. Appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
Thanks a lot. All right, let's bring in somebody that's 3 times the size of Morgan. Come on,
guy,
Big
right?
Walt, the Hall of Famer. Come on in. I have to make you sit down.
Here, I'm gonna try and clip this live on Facebook here.
While Chris is micing up Big Walt, we'll just fill you in a little bit. Again, we're live on Facebook because we want to talk about a lot of the stars here tonight. There's some big names here. We were able to talk to Gardner Minshew, the Cougars quarterback, right out of the gate, and then Morgan Weaver, Cougar soccer player who didn't have much of a voice, so we kind of gave her a break. This guy here is never short on words. Listen, big guy, I haven't seen you really since the end of the season.
I know.
What have you been up to?
Just been enjoying the time off, man. My kids are back at home up here in Seattle, so enjoying that part of it, man, and trying to get used to the weather up here. I'm not trying to get used to the snow and stuff, driving around in the snow, so it's been pretty cool.
Well, you know, I know you have an Escalade somewhere because you've been pushing it around in the offseason.
Definitely.
The Seahawks, so it's got that four-wheel drive. So, but there's things that people, you know, I enjoyed doing the 5th quarter with Walt all season long. It was kind of his maiden voyage on that show, and that was fun. What did you like about doing the 5th quarter?
I enjoyed the fact that I get a chance to talk about the game, to give a perspective from a player standpoint. I played the game, so I understand that part of it. So you just want to let the fans know how the game go and how I see the game.
When you come to an event like this, who are you looking for? I mean, you've been a part of things like this in the past, Sports Star of the Year. But
the thing about it, man, I get a chance to see these guys, I guess you say dressed up. You're so used to seeing these guys in uniform, so I get a chance for them to get recognized. It's pretty cool to kind of hear those guys talk. You know, a lot of times when I was playing, people didn't get a chance to hear you talk. So anytime you get a chance to see those guys outside of their uniform, to see how they do in front of crowds, it's pretty cool. Just to kind of to meet those guys, especially with the college and the high schools. I don't get a chance to see those guys a lot, so to see those guys to get to understand now that I consider Seattle my home, to get a chance to see those guys that kind of that's making a mark for themselves.
So who had the best year? Who is Seattle Sports Star?
For me personally, no, right? For me, I have to give it to Tyler Lockett, man. I think what Tyler did this year for the team, man, I thought that he came out this year and kind of made a name for himself. So I'm looking forward to him. Hopefully that he'll get that award.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of people think of Big Walt as Hall of Fame football player and all this stuff, but if you get a chance to see him on social media, you're doing a lot of other things, and you've really been working on your photography as well.
Yeah.
I'm definitely, man, just learning, man. I think it's a lot to it, man. There's a lot more to it than just picking up a camera and taking pictures, so I'm just trying to learn that craft, man. I got an opportunity to do it. Like I say, I got my kids here now, so I just want to give them a chance to see that I can do more than just play football, so that it's giving them opportunity to see that you can do whatever you want to if you put your mind to it.
Any Sounders games? Like, is that where you're?
That's what I'm going at now. You know, hopefully this year I get a chance to do some Seahawks games. The hard thing about doing Seahawks games is that you have to say hi to the fans, and that get hard. You know, I don't think that, you know, it's kind of like when I first started playing for the Seahawks. You know, my family had a hard time me calling it a job. You know, they looked at football as somewhere you go and just play football and you come back home, but it's a job. So I just got to explain to the fans that it's a job, that it's something that I'm really trying to figure out and want to be good at.
Well, I know tonight walking around here at the Sheraton, I'm just going to stand behind you. I'll just follow your lead.
Hey, I try
just like Sean Alexander.
I try to stay still, man. I tell people all the time, I said, people say, why you sweat? I said, because everybody's in here and I'm taller than everybody, so I'm getting all of their heat, man.
All the hot air rises.
It's all right. So matter, so
I like that, man. Well, when you're, you know, when we're out doing these games and we're on location and stuff, are you ever surprised at how much attention you still get? People are always screaming at you like, you know, I mean, you're like a legend in this town, and even on the road games, people are screaming for you.
It's pretty cool, you know. The thing I look at it as I did it the right way, and I think for me, once, you know, what we did in Seattle as an offensive line unit, I think that kind of made people start watching offensive line. Ever since then, you know, people understand the offensive line game. So for me, I said I did it the right way, that people understand the game now, can just not just watch it for the quarterback, they can watch the offensive line. They kind of can understand what's a good offensive lineman and what's a bad offensive lineman.
How about the Hall of Fame, Steve Hutchinson, chance to get in, just misses. Any thoughts on that?
It's tough, man. It's a tough class, man. It's so hard, man. I think I'm hopefully he should get in soon. You know, There's another guard that's waiting. You know, Kevin Mawai just got in, so you just got to wait your turn. At that position is pretty tough. So I'm hoping that next year you get in.
Yeah, you had a chance to play with Mawai. Like, you know, he's a heavy guy. It takes a lot to be a center in the NFL.
It takes a lot. I think for him, you know, I got a chance to play with him one. You know, and me being a rookie, it was hard because, you know, at that time I was with that old school type of football where you, as a rookie, all you do is come in and play. You can't say nothing, you can't speak. You know what I'm saying? So for me, I was just trying to learn on the go. You know what I'm saying? I came in, they gave me the position, so I had to learn on the go. So they was pretty tough on me as a rookie.
Well, I'll tell you what, it's always good to talk to Walter Jones. We're getting the hook, you know. I feel like we're at some awards show or something, Chris, and we're getting, you know, the whole rap thing. So I'll let you go, man.
All right, cool. Thanks
always
a lot,
good
guys.
to see you.
You too, man.
Okay.
Thanks a lot,
Good to see you.
Appreciate it.
All right,
We'll take
Walter
that back
Jones.
from you, so you don't get clipped there.
Thanks, man. All right, we'll see you. All right.
Oh, wait.
All right, the guests just keep coming. We talked about having some guests on.
Good to see
some
you
big
again.
stars here on the show.
We're live, by the way, on Facebook, just so you know.
So we're just trying to get as many
I heard
people
you on
on
the
as we
radio
can
a
in
little
this
bit
hour. We're going to be live till about 7 o'clock here at the downtown Sheraton, and against the MTRWestern Seattle Sports Star of the Year night. And a lot of awards tonight. Some have been given. Some of the big ones, though, are still out there. And we'll get a chance to talk to some of these guys. And now, oh man, I can almost just step back on this one, huh?
Chris Hansen.
I think I'll just hang out. I'll just be like your, I'll be Robin to your Batman. Chris,
Paul Sylvie.
Good to see you, man.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming on. All right.
Yeah.
So, what brings you to town?
Well, you do know I have a lot of family here. So always a welcome trip back. But I was supposed to go to this, and then there's a Franklin event that's 3 blocks from my old house on Saturday that I'm guessing is probably going to get canceled after the weather report. So, yeah.
And for those people watching on Facebook, Chris Hansen been involved in the city of Seattle trying to put together an arena down in the Soto neighborhood by what is now T-Mobile Park. Where does that stand? I know there was some developments this past week or so.
Well, I think, as you know, who's followed this probably as long as anybody, we put our street vacation petition in, I think about 2 years ago, a revised one, and for whatever reason, it hasn't had its proper hearing. So there's not a lot of new information to put out there about. I mean, I think the city has everything they need from transportation, logistics, design of the building, everything, and we're just trying to get it voted on.
What do you think about what the NHL group, Oakview Group, did at Seattle Center?
I think it's great for the city, you know? So, mostly privately built building. I think everybody's really excited that the NHL is coming back. I don't think there's a team name yet, but I think everybody's waiting to hear what that is. But yeah, to my cap to them, and if basketball ends up back there, that's great too. Whatever it takes to bring a team back.
Do you still feel like there is room in the city for 2 relatively brand new sports arenas?
I think that, look, I'm not one to answer the economics on their side, but I'm guessing since they are building a building without a commitment for an NBA team, that they think there's enough revenue from their side. And I would tell you, I'm 100% confident that they're a single tenant building in Soto will pencil out very well. Privately built.
Have you looked into any other options besides building an arena in Soto with all of that land that you put together?
I mean, no, but it doesn't take a rocket scientist to know that there is going to be a lot of other development opportunities down there. Some of it's, you know, is going to depend on what happens with zoning for the entire area and Seattle's growth and economics and a lot of those things. But, like, of course, at some point, if the team ends up back in Key Arena, there's going to be other options for that space. But that's not the way that we're looking at it right now. Again, we have a very civically minded group. In myself, the Nordstroms, Wally, Russell. I mean, everybody is interested in primary motivations getting a team back here. So if we do get a team back here, whether it's at Key Arena, whether it's at our arena, then we'll consider what to do with it if that day comes. But for now, it's about getting an NBA team back.
Do you wait to make that decision
100%.
Until the NBA
100%.
is back?
100%.
So whether it takes 5 or 10 years or longer?
Yeah. I mean, we own like the rest of land zoned for an arena in Seattle. We think the team, if it comes back, should play in Seattle. And, you know, we view it as our duty to, you know, keep this option available until there's a team back here playing basketball.
How would you say your relationship is with the Oakview group, and given everything that has now happened over the last couple of years?
Good, not. I mean, we don't really have a relationship. I don't have any hard feelings towards them. Again, I think I said it before. You know, they end up with a team, I'll be the first in line buying season tickets. So, you know, we're anxious to get a team back here, however that happens.
Paul?
No, it's like I'm watching TV. I'm just watching. I got a great view, you know, HD. It's looking good. No, it's sounding good. No, Chris, it's interesting. It's just, to me, it's interesting that you have not given up the fight and that you still have your eye on the prize.
Of course. I mean, look, it's really important to the city. Basketball is a very important part of our fabric. Sonics just had their 40th year, you know, championship celebration last night. Wally was there. I mean, it's, you know, you could see how many young kids you know, grew up watching Sean and Gary and a lot of those guys playing in the NBA, probably, you know, quite a few of them here tonight. I mean, it's a very important thing for our city. So, yeah, I mean, I'm happy to do my part. And, you know, again, I'll be the first one, however it happens, when there's a team here, you know, I'll be the first one lined up to go to a game and pay an exorbitant amount of money, whether I'm the owner or not, for the tickets, you know.
I think you said it all.
I know. I'm just sitting there, you know. I feel like we've taken up a lot of your time, Chris. I appreciate you coming out and kind of talking about it and keeping everybody updated.
Yeah, good to see you.
All right. We'll let him get out of here.
The mic.
Yeah, that's okay. That's.
He doesn't want to leave.
Well, you know, we do our own thing here. You know, just take the mic and. Again, Chris Daniels has been covering this story forever and developed a relationship with Chris Hansen, so it was good to just listen to those guys, get it back together and kind of talk about some times that have passed here and a chance to get caught up on the arena situation. I thought it was interesting that, you know, people kind of forget with all that talk about Key Arena and the renovation, people forget, you know, there's still an NBA team possibility, and the fact that he still wants in is interesting.
I think what he just said about they're not done until the NBA comes back is kind of the headline from that tonight, whether that's 5 or 10 years down the road, that he's not giving up with his street vacation petition. There's a question on whether the city would even hear it at this point, given that they're now in business with the Oakview group at Seattle Center. But hey, he said he's still gonna give it a shot. And you know, there are questions. I know that both Oakview and both the Hansen group have talked about how the economics would work with one building or two building. Oakview will tell you one thing, Chris Hansen will tell you another. He points, I know, he didn't say it here, but he points to what's going on in Golden State, San Francisco, getting their new building, Steve Ballmer with the Clippers getting his own building, about the NBA moving towards a world with a single entity owner of an arena. I know that the Oakview group will tell you something different, that you can bring in an NBA team and that they have a model that it works and it's worked in other buildings. So it kind of depends on who you want to believe with all of this. They both make excellent cases, but I think what you heard from Chris Hansen is they don't plan on giving up anytime soon.
Yeah, it sure would be something if they had two major arenas in the town, and like he said, they're opening Key Arena as a single tenant place, and they feel like that's enough revenue to keep that place alive. So, okay, we're going to talk some rugby now. Hey Phil, how you doing, man? Paul Sylvie, good to see you. Phil Mack, Seattle Seawolves. Well, let's talk some rugby, man. You guys, you won the title. You're off to a good start this year. So, what's it like so far? You know, having a rugby franchise in the city of Seattle and the outskirts of Seattle.
You know, for me personally, it's been phenomenal. I grew up playing rugby in North America, and it was a long time coming, actually getting a professional league. So having something on the ground, you know, in year one, it was very much a growing year. But seeing the fan turnout in Seattle, and you know, that was amazing. We just need that to kind of continue along through the league, and I think we have something really special.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up because they packed Starfire for you guys. Like, you guys don't play your home matches down there at Starfire in Tukwila, and it's almost like you can almost stand to play in a little bigger arena, huh? I mean, they packed that place for you.
No, they're doing well, and you know, I do think it's in Seattle's DNA to be, you know, loud and really get behind your sports teams. You know, I grew up in Victoria, so proximity. I've always been a Seattle sports fan myself. You know, but I really do think that you know, the fan turnout pushed us last year, and you know, it is a small venue, and I think it's a big leap to go from where we are to the next 56,000 seat one. But you know, the plan is to grow and continue that growth as we go.
There's a new coach this year. Richie, I think I've met in the past when he was with USA Women. Any way you can equate where he is on a rugby scale with coaches maybe in other leagues in terms of kind of his history?
Richie's, he's got a ton of experience. He's coached Olympic teams. He's been at the highest level of coaching in America. So, he's bringing a lot of professionalism and just like some added guidance to us as a group, which we're going to need. It's a longer season, twice the amount of games. So, that stability and kind of bedrock that we're going to need is going to be crucial.
It's a fascinating sport to watch. Obviously, you're exposing the sport to more and more people in the Seattle area. For somebody who's watching this and wants to go to a Seawolves game for the first time, what should they watch for?
It's just a combination. The best way to describe it is, you get the physicality of football, but you get kind of the grace and elegance of soccer. We're playing both sides of the ball, and the play doesn't stop. So, I would just really encourage people to come out and give it a try. Find somebody that knows rugby. Make sure you're sitting beside them because there's some rules you probably don't know. But once you're there, I promise you're probably going to want to come back.
People don't realize, I don't think, that in this country, you're right. You want to see it grow in the States, but worldwide, it's super popular. Michael Dixon, Seahawks punter, comes from that world. And some of these other guys who've tried to transition from rugby to American football, how difficult is that?
Well, it's two completely different sports. They're both collision games, but at the end of the day, it's about the work you put into your sport. And, there is a lot of crossover, obviously, between the two sports: footwork, physicality, mentality. They all come into play, but. For me personally, like I said, I'm just happy to see it on the ground. I want the best success for the league, and I just hope it continues to grow.
All right, up for the Sports Star of the Year, for the Male Sports Star of the Year. That's kind of cool. Congratulations on that.
Cheers.
And one last question for you before you take off. And you said you grew up in BC and being from Canada, you're a Seattle sports fan. Was there a sports star back in the day that you enjoyed watching?
I always loved Sean Alexander.
Okay.
I was a big fan. But when the Sonics left, we shed a few tears up north as well. So, we're happy to hear that it's coming around the corner. I've actually seen a few of the Sonics around here, so I'm a bit starstruck.
Yeah, pretty cool. That's good. All right, well, Phil, thanks a lot,
Cheers.
man. Good luck tonight.
Yeah,
okay.
Good luck.
Thanks, man.
Phil Mack, Seattle Seawolves champion. Seattle Seawolves program they've got going down there. And again, we had a chance to talk a little bit, but you've seen that the Miami Hurricanes just signed a kid to a scholarship down there. He's 24 years old. He might be 25 by kickoff in the fall. I don't know, but he's a guy who's making the transition as a punter. And then we have Dixon, of course, and you've had some guys, other position players, trying to make that transition. But the coolest thing about it, I think, Chris, is that he talks about growing it in the States, and sometimes in this country we get closed-minded that they're not big fans of soccer. It's still growing in the States, but worldwide it's just massive. And rugby is the same, not the same scale, but the same kind of deal where worldwide it's huge.
Well, and I watch it and I think you look like you still play rugby. I can't play rugby, and I'm always wondering how they don't blow out their knee or their hamstring every single minute. I mean, some of the stuff they're doing and knocking each other down, it is rough.
Yeah, it is. It's a brutal sport. But again, what I found interesting was, before we bring Art Thiel in here, I find it interesting that they have all different sizes in these rugby teams. They're not just all big, huge dudes. You saw Phil. He's compact. And then there's bigger guys that play different positions. So they've got speed guys, they've got power guys. I just think it's an interesting thing. And if you have a chance to watch these guys play in person, you'll appreciate it a little bit more.
And what about the guy who would be your starting center on the basketball team, the inter-office basketball team?
As much as I love Art Thiel, I really don't. When he comes in, we got to get up here. Come on in, Art. Come on in, Tiny. I mean, come on in here, Art.
My boys.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Congratulations. Yes. The Keith Jackson Award goes to Art Thiel this year. It's a storytelling award, and people that have read you over the years here have really appreciated the way you can tell a story. How is it for you to win that award?
Weird.
Yeah?
I would much prefer to write the news than make the news.
Okay.
It was very awkward, and I have been telling Ralph Morton, the executive director of the Seattle Sports Commission, for years, no nominations, please. Journalism awards are so dorky. And you know, but I let my guard down, and Ralph changed the eligibility rules this year. He said, "Art, we're going by height."
What did he say?
We're going by height.
Oh. How tall are you anyway?
5'11". That would make you 5'1".
To change my voice, I'm 5'1". All right, so I don't know. Maybe that's like asking a woman how much she weighs. He doesn't want to tell us how tall he is. Okay, so you know, you've seen some stars here tonight. You've covered this for so many years. Is there any memories here from the Seattle Sports Star Awards that kind of stand out from winners in the past?
No.
Yeah. People that you saw that you really appreciated them winning the awards.
Well, there's been a lot of great stories. I always think that the Wayne Gittinger Award here, where they're interviewing kids who've overcome health problems and travail to excel in sports, very inspirational. Always like that. But there's also people from Seattle sports past that's been a delight to interview. I did one a few years ago. When it was Pete Rademacher, who was the boxer who fought Floyd Patterson for the heavyweight championship in Sick Stadium. And he was an amateur who came, his first pro fight was for the heavyweight championship of the world.
Wow.
And Pete was in his 80s when I interviewed him. He was hard as a rock, tough guy, but passionate, articulate. It was just a treat to meet somebody like that, a story I'd known, a man I'd heard of, but I'd never met him. And that's one of the things about this event that I think is so cool, is that just like right here, right now, in the Sheraton lobby, lots of fans are interacting with athletic legends, people they've heard about. And it's convivial, it's, you know, upbeat, it's a lot of fun. And I think that's one of the real treasures of this event. This is the 84th year, 84 years, the longest event of its kind in the country. And Seattle needs to be proud of this. And I'm going to make a point about that when I get my award, because I've come across some interesting facts about the passion of this marketplace for sports, at least in terms of attendance figures. And I don't think there's another market in the country who has been so emotionally and financially invested in its teams as Seattle. I mean, if you think about it, I mean, a lot of people have forgotten this, but the Sonics once led the NBA in attendance. In 79-80, they drew 22,000 people a game to the Kingdome. The Mariners led the Major League Baseball in attendance in 2002, after the great season of 2001. We all know about the Seahawks. The Sounders, for 8 years, led the MLS in attendance. And then the Husky football this year led the Pac-12 in attendance, both in-house and sold. And then we've got the Storm. The Storm actually led the WNBA in merchandise sales this year. So there is so much passion, there's so much excitement. And then if you're a outdoor recreation guy, this is the only major city in North America that's got 3 huge national parks within a 3-hour drive. And if your preference is not mountains but water, this is per capita the most boat ownership in America.
So don't play Jeopardy with Art Teal. I think is
the Chamber of Commerce here.
Well, I had to try to summarize how cool this marketplace is to put up with me.
Well, I always like to plug Art's story about the Mariners. He not only writes and is a fantastic writer and a wordsmith, and I always compliment him on that in person, but you also are an author, did the book Out of Left Field, which I think, if you haven't read it, it's a great book that tells the entire weird history of the Mariners and how they were saved really out of left field. I just wanted to compliment you again, and I always tell him I will plug his book whenever I see him, because it's such a great book.
Yeah, well, it was a lot of fun. There's been some talk about movie possibilities, documentaries, and I think it would be a cool idea, because it was such a an unbelievable series of circumstances that allowed the Mariners to survive in this marketplace. And there's just cliffhanger ending after cliffhanger ending in the story. And I really thought at the time this needs to be preserved in some way. And everybody who was involved was a great storyteller, and they were eager to share the story. And I thought that was that told me a lot, because there was something going on here that was extraordinary, and it resonates to this day, because all of the opposition that happened to the Mariner Stadium, well, that's actually, in a short sentence, that gave birth to Tim Hyman and the anti-tax initiatives. And that's something you and I have been covering. Chris has been all over the issues of stadium subsidies and construction and all of those, I think, important issues about whether the public should be subsidizing private enterprise in these sports areas. And it resonates to this day, because these bids for what has become the renovation of Key Arena were based on a principle that the public did not want to subsidize any more sports play pitch. And that's why Oakview Group has gone to the lengths it has to pay for this remodel. So much of what happened in '95 with the Mariners, so much what happened in '94 with the Sonics affects what we're doing today. And with all of that history there, I think people really need to be actively engaged in knowing what happened, so they can tell what will happen and what may happen.
Current Mariners, real quick thought about what they did. Were you happy with the way they kind of dismantled the team a little bit? And
oh, hell no.
No? No?
Well, I mean, I understand the logic of having to tear down and get better. But, and I know that there's in baseball lots of history on that. I mean, the Cubs did it and the Astros did it, and it is the way forward. I grant it. But none of those teams stayed out of the playoffs for 17 years.
That's true.
My whole question to Jerry DiPoto is, step back from what?
And that's how we're going to leave it with Art Teal, the Keith Jackson Award winner for Best Storyteller, longtime sports writer. Thank you very much.
Guys,
congrats.
Enjoyed. Thank you.
That was a bit of a surprise answer. I thought maybe he would see. Oh, we're going to switch mics. Hi, Lenny. How you doing? Good to see you.
Lenny, good to see you again.
All right. Hall of Famer Lenny Wilkins is going to join us. We're going to get him mic'd up here. Here, I'll do that. All right, here we go. So, you enjoying yourself so far?
Yeah, very good. Yeah.
Good.
Is it nice to
put this in your pocket?
Is it nice to get the team back together, 40th anniversary?
It really. You know, there were some guys I see every now and then, but there were a few that I have not seen in quite some time. So it brings back memories. You know, it was a wonderful time when we won. You know, there's nothing like it. Nothing like a championship.
Well, good news. I'm going to let you take over the show now while you're here to celebrate the 40th anniversary.
Well, you know, we talk about the 40th anniversary. I know there's some players, like you said, that came to town for this that haven't been together as a family. And Gus Williams talked today about the fact that that was something special about that 78-79 team, is that you really were a family.
We really were. We were very close. We worked hard. We had terrific practices. Our practices sometimes were better than the games because we would prepare for what we were going to face. And we knew how to trap, double team, you know, rotate, all these things. Everybody knew their role. And so it was a wonderful feeling. And to see the guys and all of a sudden those things come back, those memories. And we talked about it. So it was great.
Yeah, I mean, there was from what we saw, there were quite a few laughs today. And when you look back 40 years ago, do you remember something particular about that series that stands out, where maybe there was a tipping point where you kind of felt like, well, this could go our way now?
You know,
it was a long time ago.
The year before, we lost the 7th game at home. And so I always felt that we were a good team and we were going to win next year. I don't care who was there. And when we got the Bullets, we lost the first game. Everybody forgets that. And then we won 4 straight. So after that first game, I believed that we were going to win. And I kept telling the players, you know, that you'll see, that let's just come ready to play. And we did. A lot of people forget that, you know, we were the #1 defensive team in the league that year.
Well, they always say defense wins championships, Lenny. I mean, you had that crew and that roster that could get that done. But it is interesting that you lost that first game, and sometimes coaches will say, well, we won that first game, I knew we were going to take it. You lost the first game, and that was enough to tell you knew you were going to win the title.
I truly believed it, you know, and even though we were, our second game was in at home. We played the Wizards, and then we went on after that. But I truly felt like, you know, let's end it now. Let's do it as quick as possible. You know, I don't care about no 7th game. And so we went out there very strong-minded about what we had to do to win. And like I said, everybody knew their role and was willing to play it.
Well, Hall of Famer Lenny Wilkens joining us. We're talking about the 78-79 Sonics NBA championship team. It is the 40th anniversary of the team's championship. And, you know, when you look now, you're 40 years later, you look at the NBA, and I don't want to ask you a bunch of political questions about the NBA, but I would like your take on even today's trade deadline passing and the fact that it looked like LeBron was trying to, and the Lakers are trying to force their hand with the Pelicans trying to make a deal. Is this league being run more by the stars now and not the owners?
Well, I hope not, but I can't say for sure. But the thing is this, you know, I think that players should have a say, but I think that management still has to make the decision, you know, and you got to know basketball, you know how players will fit in, you know, whether they'll complement your team. But I don't think players should run it. Okay? I mean, you can value their opinions and what they think, but you still got to make the decisions.
We hear the word GOAT thrown around a lot, greatest of all time, and some of the stars of the caliber of your caliber would say it's an era thing. You can't just say this guy was the best of all time. Do you believe it's a best of an era more than the best of all time?
That's right. I really do. Because people have more different opportunities, okay? You know, when I came in as a young player for the Hawks, they didn't have one play for the guards, okay? Everything was for their big three that we called them at that time, Pettit, Hagan, and Lavelle, you know? And I broke it because one of the plays, I kept the ball rather than pass it off and went right to the basket. All the guards started doing that. But you know, it's an era, really. The greatest of that era, because coaches allow players to do more things. And so when you have that kind of freedom and you can develop and grow and mature, it makes a difference.
I mean, do you get a chance to watch much NBA? Like, do you follow it like you used to, maybe?
Not like I used to, but I do watch a lot.
So you see the Warriors, you see Boogie Cousins go in there. It's like, does that team just look unbeatable right now, the way they've come together?
I don't think anybody's unbeatable, but I think they're playing well. They go to their strengths. And I think a lot of teams in the NBA today don't work on defense. The principles of defense, they don't work on it. You know, they don't know how to rotate, how to trap, you know, how to double team and get back to where they should be. So guys come off of screens, they're wide open a lot of times. And in our day, we weren't going to allow that. You know, I mean, we would work against that. So I just don't think the defense is as good as it used to be.
Nate McMillan's always been a defensive coach, and boy, they blew out the Lakers by 42 the other night. You sit back and you watch guys like him, like a former Sonic, and appreciate the way he coaches?
Well, yeah, I think that any coach who understands the game and is willing to put the time in and really develop his players and work on things they have to do to be successful, I think that's wonderful. And I like seeing that. But we don't have a lot of those coaches in the league anymore. But that's okay. You know, basketball is good. The talent's outstanding. some great young talent.
Yeah, it's fun, still fun to watch, right?
Yes, it is.
All right, Lenny Wilkins, I see this line of people here waiting for you, so I'm going to let you go. Thank you very much. Hey, congratulations on the 40th anniversary and the way they're honoring the team tonight, and you, of course, and we appreciate you stopping by.
Well, thank you. Thank you for having me.
All right, Lenny Wilkins with us here, and we're going to have somebody take his mic off so we can let him on his way. Or I can take it off for you. That way we can speed this up and get you out.
There you go.
Thanks a lot, Len. Appreciate it. All right. Oh, no, it's Pete Fewing. How do you follow Lenny Wilkins? You bring in Pete Fewing.
I got screwed on this one. So did you.
Hey, listen.
Yeah,
just for the people who don't know who Pete Fewing is, you've seen him on Sounders broadcasts. Of course, he's led Seattle U soccer team in 2 different eras, I should say. Because he's really old. No, I'm just kidding.
Super old. I'm so glad I came to join you, Paul. Thank you for making me a part of this.
In case you're joining us, we are live at the Sheraton in downtown Seattle for the MTRWestern Seattle Sports Star of the Year show. Pete, it's always good to talk to you. I don't want to bore the viewer with just you and I shooting the bull.
With me?
Yeah, no, with me. I got to shut up so you can talk. The success of Seattle U's soccer program, I want to get to that in just a minute, but what's it like for you to come in here and see some of these big stars? And,
I love it.
It's an annual event.
Yeah, well, I grew up here, so seeing Lenny Wilkins, 79 when they won it, I was a young kid, right? So I remember watching the game intently, and then being a kid, I went outside and played basketball for the second half because we wanted to play, right? Which I think every kid is kind of like that. So,
who did you pretend you were? Like when I was out there in
Freddie Brown. Yeah,
Freddie Brown. Okay,
because I like to shoot from anywhere.
Okay, so you're on the driveway and you're you're calling out who you are.
Yes,
because we did that as young men. We did that, right?
Absolutely.
Because I can tell you,
Gus Williams.
I mean, I grew up in Detroit, so I was for some reason I loved Notre Dame when Kelly Tripucka was with Notre Dame and Orlando Flowers. So there you go, man. I'm dating myself big time. But I used to pretend I was some of those Notre Dame guys for some reason. But it was fun. I think there's a lot of kids out there, a lot of grown men who remember back in their day shooting on the driveway, pretend, just.
I was Tony Chersky in goal.
Oh, okay.
Right, and then I got to know him when I played, and then I coached his kids. But I remember thinking everybody did it.
Yeah,
everybody did.
That's right.
I wonder if they do it today.
Yeah, there's a lot of people pretending they're Pete Fewing out there as a soccer coach.
No, I highly doubt that.
All right, we talked a little bit about this big event here tonight, but first of all, let's talk some Sounders before we get to Seattle U.
Okay.
You see what they've done here. I think they've done a fantastic job mid-season of picking up stars.
Yes.
Adrian Hanauer and Lagerwey, they're so good at that.
They are, yeah. When Rui Diaz came in, he's a goal scorer, proven goal scorer. Took a little while for him to get used to the league, maybe the physical part of it, but over time, right, he started to have his impact, and the team went on an incredible tear. I think it was 14 games, they only lost 2. And then you look back at Ladero coming in partway through. I think the big question this year is what's going to happen without Ozzie.
Right.
So I know some guys at Minnesota, they are really excited to get Ozzie because Ozzie's going to be fired up, revengeful kind of guy who's going to want to lead that team. So who's going to take that spot? Logical is Christian rolled on to slide in with Gustav. But then he's been on the right, so it'll be interesting to see what they do.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a change for sure, but the right guys there, and Schmetzer and some of the other guys lead that organization, and they still have Fry in goal, so that's always a strong point.
He's fantastic.
How about Seattle U now? Phil, you had a great run there, but tell me how this last season went and how you guys look.
We had a funny one. So we were 13-6-1. Paul, we were a good team. We beat Akron, who lost in the final. We beat Washington, who beat Maryland, who won the final, but we lost some silly games. Bad coaching is what I would call it, honestly. So we've got a good team. We're going to go play Notre Dame next year, Indiana, Santa Barbara, Cal Poly. I love our program. We have 7 teams that are in the NCAA tournament. Yeah. So we're a top 25 team.
I'm going to say, I think you're one of the best kept secrets in this town is the Seattle U soccer team, and I've kicked myself a few times this past season by not watching your games because they were great games. And if you have a chance, dial them up. And it's live streaming right on their website.
Oh yeah, you bet. Okay. And it's a great venue.
All right.
And this guy's a blast. We got to work together. We got to work together with the Sounders.
That's right, buddy. Parting
nice
shot there.
Yeah.
Appreciate the compliment.
Yeah.
Hey, Pete, thanks a lot, man.
Out there.
Always good to see you. Take care. This guy, he's never in a bad mood. I mean, every time I hang with him, he makes you smile no matter what, if you're having a bad day. Here's another lovely lady who always makes me smile, Sue Bird.
Hi.
Hi. How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm really honored that you're standing here and chatting with us here. I know you've had a busy year.
Yeah.
First of all, let's get to your role with Denver, and tell me a little bit about how that's going with the Nuggets.
Yeah, it's going great. I am a basketball associate, basketball operations associate, and really all that means is they're allowing me to come in and learn. And I can't tell you, it's been amazing. You know, just being around the guys, hearing how, you know, meeting the front office guys and hearing how, you know, maybe a trade goes down or, you know, how you're going to build in free agency or whatever the talk is, it's just constant learning. So it's been amazing.
Do you get to go on the floor with these guys at all? Is there any
so not as much as maybe I thought originally, but that's just because they're in season, you know, and so they're either out of town or when they are in town, it's like games Monday, Wednesday, Friday. So they're not really on the floor. It's all about, as you know, it's like all about rest. It's all about, so I definitely go to all the games. I'll check out shoot around every now and then. I do have relationships with the players, which is cool. So I can kind of text them and stay in touch that way, mostly the point guards. So it's been fun.
Yeah, well, you know what? I don't have to tell you. They're a pretty good team.
Yeah,
they're a fun team to watch.
They're doing really well.
Yeah.
They're really deep, just like really balanced, really deep. They have, you know, Jokic got All-Star this year, which is huge for them. It's like the first All-Star in like since Carmelo Anthony, I think.
Yeah,
so it's been a
I
while.
thought you were going to say maybe Mutombo or something.
Yeah, no, it's been a while. Getting close enough, yeah.
Let's talk about the Storm. We don't want to talk about all Denver Nuggets, but it's really cool that you know, you're one of the pioneers as you go into the NBA and you know, one of the first women to work in organizations like that. So I think that's really cool. What about the Storm? Because I know I'm not going to ask you the question of when are you going to retire, because I know she's not going to retire anytime soon. So what do you look for in this team as the defending champs?
Yeah, just that. You know, try to defend our title, and that is way harder than it sounds. I've now tried 2 other times unsuccessfully, and you know, I think when you're going through a championship run like we did this past summer, you just can get caught up in the moment because it's your first time and you're just trying to get it done. And then the next year, there's this like, it's almost like this cloud hovering around you, like, oh, well, last year we did it this way, or, oh, I don't remember it being this hard. So you have to kind of battle that, put it to the side, know that every team's going to play their best against you, which is like a whole other bag of worms. So it'll be tough, but it should be fun.
One last question for you. You see Maya going to sit out for the 19 season. Can you appreciate that as someone who's a veteran like you, someone that just wants to push themselves away from the table for a season?
Yeah, I can appreciate it because I can only imagine how difficult it was for her to get to that point, right? To actually get to the point where she knew what she wanted, to say it out loud, to not really care about, you know, public perception or what people might think or say. It's like, this is what I need to do for me, and this is all that I'm focused on. And I mean, anybody in any walk of life can tell you that's not easy to do. So I'm really proud of her. We're going to miss her. You know, I don't know if I'll miss her as much when we're playing Minnesota, but I think the league overall will definitely miss her. And like I said, I wish her the best of luck.
Cool. All right, always great to talk to Sue Bird, and I don't have any curveballs for her. I always like to throw her something at the end.
I was waiting.
I'm letting you off the hook tonight. Thank you very much.
Thanks
all right, good to see you. All right, always good to see Sue Bird, and playing at such a high level too. You know, we talk and joke around about maybe when is she going to retire, but she keeps herself healthy, and she plays at such a high level still. It's like, why should she step away? And I'll just throw this out there because, you know, everybody asked Tom Brady the same thing: is when is this guy going to hang it up? He's already said many times he wants to play till he's 45. Sue Bird is playing at that kind of a level where she keeps herself healthy. She knows how to take care of herself, and it's all in the diet and the regimen and all that other good stuff. So, is that it? We're out of time? I'm being told we're out of time. That's it? I got 7 minutes left on mine. I thought we were going to 7 o'clock. That's it? No, that's all right. We got some people here that want to jump on, but all right, we're going to wrap it up, I guess. So that's been it from the MTRWestern Seattle Sports Star of the Year show tonight here at the downtown Sheraton. It's been a lot of fun. Awesome to catch up with Sue Bird. And we started the whole show off with Cougar quarterback Gardner Minshew, who's down in South Florida preparing for not only the Combine coming up within the next month, but also for the NFL Draft. He's heard where he is going to be somewhere between the first round the 4th round. He's also heard 7th round. He's also heard undrafted. But he basically says, you know what, just watch me. So it was fun talking to him. That's going to do it for us. Thank you for joining us on all our platforms, the King 5 Media Group, and we'll see you on the air somewhere else. Thanks a lot.